So the other day I did a vlog where I'm walking through the woods with Indy, and I asked you guys to ask me questions and I would answer them. So here are my answers from this video. Mary of Mary's Test Kitchen asks, if I had to pick a last meal, what would it be? My last meal ever. Mary, I hope I'm not on death row. That's a tough one. I think that I would pick a Fiesta burger from Sun Cafe, along with their cacao shake and a side of buffalo cauliflower bites from Sage. Will you guys be doing any Halloween themed videos? Yes. Yes, we will. Mosquitoes suck. That's not a question, but yes, they do. They suck your blood. Sarah asks, what do I feed Indy? I'm glad you asked. Indy is currently on a premium quality vegan dog food called V-Dog. And contrary to what a lot of people believe, dogs aren't carnivores, they're omnivores, and they can thrive on a vegan diet. One of the oldest living dogs was a vegan and lived to 27 years. You can Google that. His name was Brambles. Indy is a dog that survived parvo, and it really messed up his digestive system. The vets had him on their suggested formulas, which weren't vegan, and he was taking various different medicines, and his digestion was not normal again for at least a year. And after about a year, I decided to put him on a vegan formula. And once I did that, he got better. And he's been very healthy ever since. It's been 3.5 years now that he's been an all vegan dog. He eats sweet potatoes and carrots. He loves carrots. And of course, V-Dog. Also, if you are interested in purchasing some V-Dog for your pup, you can save 10% right now by entering the coupon code ZOMBIESEPT. That's zombie and then abbreviated September in the link below. And no, I'm not making any money on this. I really like the product. It's a quality product, and they were nice enough to give us a coupon code so you guys can save as well. John's Conscious Life says, if you found out there was a cure for a zombie status and there was this girl who was like, well, who would be pretty hot if she wasn't a zombie and trying to eat your brains and stuff, would you try and rescue her? Or would you be like, death to zombies and not risk it? Well, if there was a cure, I would try to help the zombies. But I haven't found a cure, so it would most likely be death to zombies. Sorry, John. I always thought Indy was John's dog. Nope, Indy has always been my dog. John and Indy were always the ones in front of the camera. Until recently, I always tried to stay away from the camera and be on the other side of it until recently. So I can understand why a lot of people think that Indy is John's dog. Roku asks, how is my ninjutsu going? Am I still training it? For those of you that watched my Why I Went Vegan video, you might remember that I was first introduced to vegetarianism through Ninjutsu. I used to train that as a kid, and I haven't really trained it recently. There's aspects of it that I still implement on a daily basis or as much as I can, but no, I haven't trained martial arts in a little bit. Juka asks, what is a sport I most like to watch and play the most? I'm a huge UFC fan. I love watching UFC whenever it's on. As for the sport that I like doing physically, that would be skateboarding. I used to skateboard all the time. Lately, I haven't been able to as much, but I do like to get out there on my board when I can. Bug C asks, what tips can you give someone that doesn't really make any money and wants to be a vegan but still lives at home? I can definitely relate to you. I was 14 when I went vegetarian, and my parents did not support me either. It didn't stop me. I just basically learned to cook my own food. That's when I started learning to cook, and I just stayed away from the meat. There was always something that I could eat, and I would make myself spaghetti or rice or whatever. But I did it, and after a few years, they came around and they completely support me now, 100%. Another thing you could do is start making your own food. See if you can prepare the meals for your family and trying to convince them that being vegan is healthy and delicious. Other than that, that's a tough one because you're still living under your parents' roof. Some people, they have to do what their parents say. I was a good kid, but I was very strong-willed. So when I put my mind to something, I did it. I would come into the kitchen or I'd come into the dining room when dinner was being served, and there was nothing I could eat, and I would say, I'm really hungry. And my parents would say, well, if you ate what the rest of us ate, you wouldn't be hungry. I made it work. I ate the side dishes that didn't have meat in it, or, I found something in the cupboards that I could eat. I never went hungry, but I probably wasn't eating as healthy as I could have been back then. But then again, what kids are eating healthy? They're eating junk food and candy, and it wasn't until I was a little bit older that I started eating healthier. But I feel like I turned out fine, or did I? Ray Dizzle says, your skin is amazing. Do you wear sunscreen or just avoid the sun? Thanks, Ray. Just like most people, as a youngster, I would break out once in a while with acne. And when I turned 18, I went vegan and it kind of cleared up. I never really had breakouts like that again. I would definitely say that I believe it had something to do with the dairy and the animal products that I was eating. As far as do I wear sunscreen, I do burn very easily. So yes, if I'm going to be in the sun for an extended period of time, like I was last year when I was on the vegan cruise in the Caribbean, I will wear sunscreen. I don't like putting it on because I don't like the way it feels on me, but it's better than getting a sunburn. So other than that, I try to stay out of the sun. And also my dad told me when I was little, don't squint or you'll get wrinkles on your eyes. Because he had wrinkles and he said, don't do that or you're going to look like me. So I always tried not to squint. And I always wear sunglasses. My eyes are very sensitive to the light, so I'm always wearing sunglasses, even when it's an overcast day and it's still daytime. My eyes are... Jocelyn asked, will I come to Phoenix, Arizona? Phoenix, Arizona. I don't know. I'd like to. I'd like to go to a lot of places. How's your vegan food? I have a cousin who lives in Flagstaff. Is that close? I'll tell you what, if I make it out to Phoenix or if I make it anywhere outside of Syracuse, I'll let you guys know. I usually do that. I usually either do a vlog on it or I'll let you guys know through Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, something like that. Brooklyn asks, how did I train Indy? I did a lot of research on the best ways to train your dog when I first got Indy. And I found a really good site on YouTube, and I can't remember exactly what it is. I'll look for it, and hopefully by the time I edit this video, I'll have it in the description below. I haven't really looked at it since he was little, and he's 4.5 now. But I do know that I did train him in German commands, and the reasoning behind that is because when a dog hears certain words, he or she tends to know what those words mean. And the more they hear those words in normal language used for maybe something else, like if you say down, and then the dog goes down and lays down. Now, if somebody else is saying something like put that down or put this down, and they start hearing other forms of the use for that word, it kind of desensitizes, so they're not really sure if they have to sit down or if you're talking about something else. So when I train my dog, unless you live in Germany and speak German, so I'm here in the United States and I speak English, and I train my dog with German commands. So instead of saying down, I say Platz. So he knows the only time he ever hears Platz is when he needs to lay down. And I've had friends come over and say down, and he doesn't know what they're talking about. I say seats for him to sit. He does understand sit, though. He's a pretty smart cookie. Training him was very easy. He was a very smart dog. So each command I trained him, it only really took me a couple hours, and then he had it. I trained him most of what he knows now within the first week of having him. And I had a little clicker, and it's all about positive training. So instead, you don't scold the dog, or you don't hit the dog, and you don't push their face in their potty when they go on the floor, because they don't know what that means. You want positive reinforcement. They want to know that they're doing something good and they're going to repeat that action. When I want him to sit, I say seats, and once he seats, I do the little click and I give him a little treat. And then I do that over and over until he starts to associate the word seats with sitting down. And then he hears the click, and the click reinforces his good behavior, and then he gets a treat. And then once he learns this behavior, you take the treats away, and then you just do the click. Eventually, you take the click away, and now your dog knows the word seats. He knows what to do, or she knows what to do. So that's how I trained Indy. Sarah Martinez asks, how did I meet Indy? I met Indy 4.5 years ago. I got him from a farm, and he had parvovirus. Now, parvo is a virus that is very deadly and very contagious to dogs. His chances of survival when I got him were almost none. The vets said that I had two choices. I could take him home and make him as comfortable as possible, and he would probably end up dying within a week, or they can try their best and put him in intensive care, and they're not guaranteeing that anything positive would come from that. I put him in intensive care. He was in there for a while. He had IVs hooked up to him, and after he was done with the intensive care, I had to bring him back to the vet on a weekly basis for about a year. He survived. He's a survivor, and now he's a very happy, healthy dog. He's pretty smart too, and he's definitely good to have in the middle of a zombie apocalypse, let me tell you what. Liquid Citizen says, by the way, one question, which is incredibly stupid, but I hope you'll answer. How does one tie up his hair like that? I have longer hair and am desperate in finding a way to tie it or something just to keep it out of my face. So if you can help, please help. Now I know that question wasn't on the Nature Walk video, but in order to answer this question, I have to show him something. So Liquid Citizen, I hope I'm saying your name right. This is how I put my hair up. Okay, so you're gonna need a hair tie, long hair. You grab it all in your hand and you put it on top of your head. I put it pretty much straight on top because it's gonna fall back a little bit. And I don't want it to be way in the back because, well, for me, this is the most comfortable wearing it like this. I'm gonna take it like that. You see what I did there? Pull it through like this, as you can see, and then in one motion kind of wrap it around like that. It took me a minute to figure that out, but there we go. That's how I pull my hair back. For most of my life, I actually had a buzz cut. I had really short hair, and I decided about 3 years ago to grow my hair, and I haven't cut it since, and I probably should because it's getting pretty long. So that brings us to the end of this video. If you guys are liking these Q&As, well, we can definitely do more. Just let me know in the comments below. I'm sure I'll do some more in the future. And until then, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.